mean, they are quite tough to handle.
That's how we like it.
Good morning, welcome to Fishing Squad. It's Friday the 17th and we're going fishing, obviously. Back in North Wales. Just having a walk down to the mark. And straight away, before I've even got anywhere near the sea, I just know that water clarity is going to be shocking. Based on how much water's on in the sides of the road. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. You just know that rainwater affects water clarity. It'll not make any difference to the style of fishing we're doing today, but it is just something that can affect lure fishing, I suppose, and stuff, for better or for worse. But it's just an indication that I use to just know how the rain affects the water clarity around here. I'll just spin you around and show you what I mean. Like bits like that. Obviously, if this were like, say, May or June, it'd make mackerel fishing really hard. Just like, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of standing water in the fields as well as we walk up the lane. All I mean here is the fact that the water's an indication of what the water clarity will be like as all the rain's washed into the sea. I just think it fishes better sometimes when the water's a bit cleaner, that's all. But like I say, I'm hoping it don't make a difference at fishing today. Got light southeasterly winds, a bit of broken cloud. It has forecast rain, but I don't think we're going to get any. Fingers crossed. So we'll see how we get on. I've only got plenty of squid, a few whiting for bait. If we catch anything fresh like rockling, maybe we'll consider putting it on as a fresh bait or put it back. For species hunt today, what would I really want? I mean, I'm fishing big, purely because I've brought minimal tackle with me through, because we're only here till tomorrow. We only come like yesterday. I've only bought my big gear. I'm testing out a new reel. I've bought one of them. I bought two. Abu 6500 CS Mag Sport, is it? An old reel, but they're absolute gems for casting, allegedly. But I got a good deal on them, second hand, in good condition. Just putting my stuff down a minute. In good condition, and it's going to be loaded with, I think it's got about 18 pound line on. It's not something I'd usually do on this mark. Fish with 18 pound line. Obviously I'll have a leader on, but I do know if you can cast a bit further out, there's some clean ground. I've brought the reel down with me. I've got a fixed spool to go on if we don't think it's a good idea after a couple of bait ups, if we're losing gear all the time and stuff. So we'll just see how we get on with that. I'm just going to put two reasonably big baits out. I'm not really bothered about catching anything small. Even if we don't catch anything for species hunt, I'd like to just get a couple of huss out. It's just time of year for me, you know, proving that you can get huss every month of the year on the Llyn Peninsula these days. It's not something that always happened, believe it or not. It's not just me saying that, a few anglers have said that, on the end anyway. But I've heard stories of people on Anglesey with the same sort of analysis of as the years have gone on. So I'd be happy today with a huss. Low tide's at 10:15. We're in the morning, obviously. I'm going to fish it down. I'm going to get down there for about 9. Fish it down to low, and then back up probably 2 or 3, and then come back up. I'm here with my dad, but he's not bothered about having a good today. Don't fancy it. You know, you don't want to be out if it starts raining and stuff. He's more of a tote fisherman. So yeah, we'll just see how we get on. I mean, it'd be nice. I've had ling off this mark before, and one day I'll get another one. I've had them up to £9, believe it or not. That'd be a good one for species hunt. A rockling, decent three-bearded rockling would be good. A cod, I still dream of them days when I'll get another codling off in this mark. I've only ever had one. So they're like 3 species probably outside of huss and a conger. I want at least a huss today, at least, and then we'll take it from there, because I'd like to get lucky and get a random catch of a cod, a ling, or a rockling. I know there's been the odd spear off this mark. You know, they're like 4 species that really would be a gem for me to get at the minute. Codling, rockling, and the one spear. They'd be like the gems. Ling were fairly easy to get off here. In spring they were, once upon a time. I've had them in February as well. Every time you'd go down, well, not every time, but if you fished in like June and managed to get a mackerel, put some fresh strip on, you'd get them. I'm wondering sometimes if certain fish don't like a big bait. You know, if there's like a bit of strip on like a 4-0, obviously pull down shank of the hook and just off where you nick the barb through, probably. Bit of elastic on top of it, I don't know. So we'll see anyway how we get on. Like I say, I've blabbed on enough. We'll see you at the mark. Right guys, I've decided to just fish on a different mark. It's not too far away from the one where I had the bigger conger. It's walking distance. I just got an hunch for it. It's a mark where I fished, where I learnt to fish really. So I'm just tackling one at rods up. I've got an Abu Slosh 30 on my Tronix Pro Gorilla Surf. I'll show you more in a minute. I'm just putting that rig on, 200 mono, 7.0 Shaun the Simp. Just put whiting head on for now, just because it's a quick easy bait to get out for first bait. And I've got a jig bar, simple running ledger, jig bar and a weak linker line, a little clip on, just to clip it onto for casting. It's not a rig that's going to zoom out. This method, I know I bang on about it, I'm going to bang on about it in every video I do. This method should be the basis of anyone that goes fishing really on rough ground. Obviously, if you're not a massive caster, I can cast a small bait out, probably 120 yards I'd say, right? With a 6-ounce sled, say a 3/0 hook with small bait on, right? Easy, no problem. When you start bulking things up in that, say a 7-ounce lead and half a mackerel, it's going 60 yards, 70 yards, like this sort of size bait, yeah, maybe a bit bigger. So there's no point. I can cast probably about the same with this rig without it being clipped down on a pulley rig style. So I just think to myself, why mess about with extra components, splash downs, extra swivels, extra this, extra that, extra hook if you're using a pennel hook. What's the point when that works? So that's why I use that. It's cheap, cheerful, but that's like my backbone of my fishing basically. I haven't used it much. I've started using it a lot lately again, but don't dismiss what you know knows work up in my message on that one. You know, everything else I've tried with pulley rigs, clipping it down, clipping it up, blah blah blah, open overs and all that, it's just expensive, isn't it? Basically, I'm a tight Yorkshire man. No, seriously though, use what works for you, and that's it. That's the basis of most of my fishing. It has been over the years. In the last 3 years I've mucked about with stuff. I'm putting a pulley rig onto a rod, don't get me wrong, clip down, I've got a lighter reel on it, lighter line, I want to whack it out, you know, I want to get that 120, 130, hopefully pushing maybe 150 if we're a lighter setup, you know, you never know. So we'll see. I don't think I'll be getting 150. We'll see. So I'll bring you back in a minute. I'll just tell you what I've done so far. I put a lead on this reel, which is a good idea, always a good idea, to put a plain lead on, no rig, have a cast or two with it, get your line nice and tight onto your reel, make sure everything's working correctly. Many a time I've come down and cracked off on first cast because I hadn't done that. So it's just a bit of a lesson to learn that for me. So we'll see how we get on. I mean, it's a small tide. That wind, we're out of wind. I've moved on to this other mark like where I've fished most of my life. I just got a hunch for it, you know, that fisherman's hunch. So we're going to get this bait out and get some fishing done basically. Enough chat. Right, so on this rod we're going for a pulley rig with a Scarf Squid Cocktail. I've got 100 wire, 140 rig body, Gemini splashdown, little clip to put the lead on. I've tied just some simple half blood knots on there that will pull out if the lead gets stuck. Because my main line's only £20 line, I think it's only £20 line. I've only got I'm only putting a £50 leader on with this one. And you know, if anything's going to snag up, it'll be that. If the hook gets stuck, you're not getting your gear back no matter what pound line you've got on. So yeah, we'll get this cast out. We'll see if we can get a fish. Nothing's happened on the other rod. It's about due a bait change. I've just been messing about with this sport mag reel I've got. I'll just show you it. Just been messing about with this. I've had to knock some brakes off it and stuff. It's a nice reel, it's lovely for casting, it's nice and strong as well. You know, it's made properly, so we'll see how we get on with it. Like, nice handle on it. It's got like a power handle on in comparison to the Abu 6000 CS. Is it the Maglite one? It's got a little handle on, isn't it, the Maglite one? This one's got a nice big handle on. Let's see how we get on. So fishing fairly comfortably now. I've just the one that had no Shaun silk, and I lost the rig on that. I've just pre-baited it, re-rigged it with a like whitey section of squid attached to it. The little reel. I cast that out obviously just on the last section. Following from last section of video, it's having a few problems with brakes in it at the minute. We'll see how we get on. I've already flicked a few out, I've got 2 in it. It still seems pretty noisy. You know, like the brakes are burning a bit, I don't know. Nothing's happened so far. I'm going to make some baits up. We'll have something to eat, make some wraps up if you like. So we're fishing quite fluidly. I have a pink bait bag. I'm going to make some wraps up. I managed to find a couple of scadding with this frozen bait, so that were alright. This has got a bit of oily fish. Nothing's happened so far, like I say, it's been a slow start. Got a lot to do in terms of making some baits up, getting prepped, so we can get fishing quite quickly. If we don't have anything on the big baits, I might put a smaller rig on this reel rod and just see if we can pick a rockling up or something. Yeah, so the mark we're on today, it's the mark I learnt to fish on. The old flat rock there, you've seen in my videos before. Got my first fish ever off this corner here when I was about 4 years old. Float fishing into this gully down here. Pollock. Fishing high up today because the wind is increasing and we will get a swell coming this way. It's just easy for landing fish. We've got small tides. Obviously if you get a bit of a swell on a small tide, the level at water hasn't dropped up enough over low to just be fishing comfortably, but you might have to move back. You might end up here anyway, so we might as well fish up here. But also we can land fish quite comfortably, beach them down there, go down and run them. So, last time fishing here with my dad, we did alright, similar conditions. We had a couple of huss out, a couple of congers over 2 sessions. It's a lovely mark, but today what I've noticed is the first tide of the increase, when the tides start increasing, the general fish is shit, if I'm being honest, and that's what we've got today. So I don't know, we're going to give it probably 3 or 4 hours after low, but I'm not bothered if we catch or not. Honestly, I do want to catch. If we don't catch, we don't catch, simple as that. Got to be in it to win it, and we'll just see what happens. This fish we've got is a strap conger. I'm just trying to bring him in now. Just because I say, it's on the surface down there. It's absolutely full of them off here, man. Absolutely full of them. They're a pain in the arse, to be fair. If they're that size, they are. They're just nuisance. Look, he's gobbled an 8-0. He's got the 10-0 hook actually in his side of his mouth, what I struck on. What I lifted into, if you like. We'll have to do some investigating to see how far the 8-0's gone, because if the 8-0 might not actually be in him, it's as daft as it sounds, even though it's below it. We'll have to have a look. They're nice little critters, aren't they? We'll see if we get some footage. I'm really sorry, sometimes the footage isn't as good as it should be. You know, of late. It's just been really hard to video, basically. I put it down to weather conditions and just vary something. Let's get him sorted anyway. Right, so to unhook him, you want some pliers. Now, I think he might not be hooked on the 8-0 as daft as it sounds. If he is, we might have to leave the hook in him, unfortunately. But the 10-0 circle's done its job. It's right in his jaw, can you see, just there. It's just there, right out. So I think if I can just get him off that, the 8-0, I can see the 8-0, should be able to unhook him quite well actually, all be well. Just look at the twist and look, the 8-0's hardly in him. Hook bait's come out, he's nearly unhooked. I've got the 10-0 out of him. But you know what they're like for thrashing about? The 8-0 is barely in him. It's not even, the 8-0 hasn't, sorry, I keep going on about it. The bottom hook, it's making it worse for him by twisting really. It's barely in him because it's been hooked on the circle really. Look, out altogether. I mean, we'll have a look at him. But you know what they're like. It's the slippy, slidey. He's in a rock pool as well. And the gills on them, they're really difficult to handle because the gills on them are on the back of their head. That's him anyway, that's him. Not the best, not the biggest I mean, but even though I said they're a pain in the arse, it is a welcome fish. We'll get him put back anyway if I can hold him long enough to put him back. Just give us a sec. Oh, I'll slide out my hands. Yeah, he's gone back anyway. But that were on squid cocktail. That's done me a lot of fish. So we'll get from Oriental Wholesales in Doncaster. I'm quite happy with that as a start. You know, I thought it'd be a bit tougher to get a fish out than that today. First bait up on the new reel. Did it worked? All worked out fine. That. And I do like this setup with a 8 Okiki. We're catching Huss and Congers on with a 10 Okiki behind it, but don't use the Kiki 8 wide mouth specimen what's on this rig for tote because they bend out. Might have just been a one-off that when I had that bend out, but I'm not going back to him for tote fishing. Like these are just on some rigs that I'm using. Well, I made last year what I stopped using because I had a tote bend one out, but the 10-0s are good. I've had a tote on a 10-0 and it didn't bend out. You could see how well that were hooked. That would just had a little bit of a nod bite rather than let it develop too much. I just lifted, and obviously it spun circle hook straight into the side of its mouth, into the bottom of its jaw, which is it's good going in it. That happy with how that works. I tend not to. I don't wrap that round wire either. I just have it nicked in the bait. So in effect, that's just being used just to go into splashdown. Really, it's not really designed for hooking fish, if you like. That's the one we want to get the fish on, and it is something that I got perfected last year. And I had to stop using because of the tote bent one of my bottom hooks out. So best get rebaited, haven't we, and have another go. Right, I've decided to put pulley rigs on both now with similar setup with them circle hooks as the back hook. It's every rig I've lost on the running ledger rig setup, you know, with that bar that I had on. So I've gone for a pulley rig on both, clipped down, just to see if it were anything to do with the rig and the size of the tide as to why we're losing a rig just on the running ledger rod. So I haven't had any more bites. I've had another bait up on both rods just since I had the conger. But what a beautiful day. It's like summer. So I've got quite a lot of bait with me. I'm going to get it prepped into wraps. And anything I don't use I can just bang back in the freezer. I've got some oil down here as well, so I may inject a few as well and then package them up down here. Get all messy side done down here and then put them back in the freezer. Obviously it's not going to be the best to bait, but it'll do for some night sessions for Huss and Congers and stuff. So there's no point in chucking bait away, is there? It's a load of whiting that I've had at home that my mate Martin's given me, and got some squid, and surprisingly there was some scad in there as well, which I was quite happy with, because that was what I caught the conger on, squid scad cocktail. So, but yeah, it's a lovely day. Still got a bit of a swell, not much. Says wind's blowing straight into there though. They've got the forecast wrong as usual. We won't have the rain that the forecast. It's a shame really. I think my dad might have come down, but hey ho, we'll save my dad for out fishing I think. So I'm going to make some baits up and then hopefully we'll get another couple of fish out. I bought loads of whiting. I didn't realise how many I brought down. I made some wraps. I've put some in this old box of squid here, or empty box of squid there. I've put some over here. Now these over here, I've poured some fish oil over him. So we'll fish one rod with fish oil and one without, see how we get on. Nothing else has happened really. I'm going to reel in for a bait, rod on the right's going to be reeled in for a bait change. The sea seems to calm down a touch. What time we're on now? Just give me a sec. Nearly an hour after low, so I don't think much more will happen, but you never know, we'll see. It's been a little session. I'm hoping to obviously get some more fish out. Get a bait change done and see what happens. Right, well I've just been sat here rabbiting away, only to realise I haven't pressed record. I did a bait up change. I did 2 casts out with both rods, 2 bait up changes, 2 bait changes. I cast out with both rods and I hadn't even pressed record. What a tool. What I was saying was I've dropped a couple of breaks out of that little reel. It's still noisy. I'll try and do a cast on camera with it, see if anyone can advise. Right, I've done alright with that rod today and reel. I've had a fish on it, I haven't lost any gear on it as well.
So I don't know. I was saying before when I didn't press record that you can balance stuff up by the poundage of line you put on your hook length, on your lead line, on your lead link, weak link line on your lead. Like I usually use a 30-pound main line, 60-70-pound leader, and a 20-pound weak link on the lead. But obviously you couldn't balance it up. You could fish a 20-pound main line, a 60-70-pound leader, and the weak link on the lead. If it's 10 or 15 pound, it'll probably break out using the same principle. So it's just interesting to try something, isn't it? If you're using braid, you could use an 80-pound braid, say a 100-pound leader, and then it changes again where the weak point is, where it'll break when you're in a snag. Usually if your hook's snagged, it's the leader knot. With braid, you might be able to change that. You can change that to the where your rig's tied on your rig, where your rig knot. But it's just interesting how you can change the balance from your lead all the way up to your shock leader knot, if you like. Or change it even further to your reel. I don't know if I'm just getting a little bite on left hand rod, I don't know, it's difficult to say. Might just be a bit grease. But yeah, I've put on one rod I've got bait that's got fish oil on it. On the other rod I've got plain original, if you like. Well, it's been a lovely day. We're about an hour and 20 after low. I'm not expecting much, but at least I've had a go. I might get out again tomorrow morning, first thing, I don't know, I might not bother. It's nice to be here. You know, like I say, if my dad had known what the focus had been like, he might have come down and had a go. But yeah, just hoping we get another fish. I might try a smaller rig on one of the rods, maybe on the smaller reel, the next bait up possibly. I'll have a look, see what we've got, just to see if we can pick something up, even like a pollock or a rockling. A couple more congers won't go on this. Things change around faster on this mark sometimes though. You can be down in the dumps doomy and gloomy, then a few minutes later you're euphoric, if you like. But it's obviously I'm wearing appropriate clothing for the time of year, but it's really comfortable. Really comfortable. I'm just persevering with what we've got. Oh, I'm getting a bite. Oh, go on then. It looks like hussy. Hussy. Go on, you hussy. Hussy. Just give me a bit of a. I don't know if you saw it on the rod closest. Come on, hussy, come back. That's on the bait that's got fish oil on. Do it, huss. Huss would be nice. I don't even need a huss for species, but I just love catching them. If I don't get my huss, I'm like, I think it's been a shit session basically. We'll see what happens with that one. If it goes again, I'll pick the rod up and we'll assess it. Because with them circle hooks, what you do is when the huss bite like that, they usually give like a dink, 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 and you can feel it. It almost feels like your line's going like that when you pick the rod up. If you just lift on one of them, it just pulls the circle straight into the mouth. That's what I did with that conger. Just a lift. You have to with tough mouth fish, even with circle hooks, you do have to give a bit of a lift. I do like to give it just a lift. Let the camera roll. Let's see if we can get one. So now I'm like thinking, my thoughts now are after that bite, was that a conger picking bait up and just sitting on it? Sometimes husks just sit on your bait though as well. They don't do. Nice to have a bite registered on the rod too. Yeah, so we'll see what happens anyway. See if that bite develops into anything. I'm come back for it anyway. So we'll give it 5 more minutes, probably reel that one in for a bait change, just to make sure everything's okay. There's no point in leaving a rod out there that's got a conger attached to it, is there, for 20 minutes. Yeah, so it's been a bit slow overall. I've just trying a smaller rig out on the one with smaller reel. It's got a 3.0 Tamers on and a 3.0 Mustad Chinook on a up and over pulley, up and over panel rig. Bait's been untouched. That bite that I did have on camera, I think, didn't develop into anything, so we're grounded at the minute, unfortunately. Oh, crying out for a fish, I'm afraid, but I just don't think it's going to happen today. It's been slow. You'd think we're a smaller hook, and if there's anything like rockling wise out there, we'd nail it. It's a bit disappointing so far. But we'll keep at it. I think we've got, let's check the time. I'm going to give it till 1 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock now, so we've got an hour. I'll have another bait up at 12:30, or I might have one sooner on the smaller bait. On the big bait I've just fired out left on the far side. It'll get changed at 12:30. This one might get changed at 12:15. We'll see. Hopefully. Fingers crossed for a fish in it. I'm frustrated, I've got to say. See what happens in it. Grey. I'm going to reel. I've already packed a rod down. It's just there. Not the best of sessions. It's probably one of the worst sessions I've had down here. I've had 2 bites. One I caught a conger that you've obviously seen in the video. Not very good, but it is what it is. Like I say, I'll get my excuses in. Obviously, I'm always packed full of optimism before any session, as you can see. You see my enthusiasm as well. This happens, doesn't it? This is fishing. Am I getting a bite on that rod? No, I don't think so. It just is what it is, basically. I had an opportunity to go fishing this morning. That'll be it till about the 1st of April, I think. So, not very good, guys, is it? I'm going to reel this. If nothing else happens, that'll be it, unfortunately. I've loved it, don't get me wrong, I have. I fed seagulls a couple of whiting that I didn't fancy taking back with me because they're a bit gammy. But other than that, it's been a poor session. I'm a bit disappointed the huss haven't shown. But nearly 3 hours after low, it's time to go. We'll see you later. Thank you very much.